The Spanish Empire, a name that echoes through the annals of history, conjuring images of vast territories and immense power. It's a name you hear a lot when you study history. From classrooms to libraries, the Spanish Empire is a frequent topic of discussion. From the Americas to the Philippines, its reach was huge. The empire spanned continents, influencing cultures and economies far and wide. For hundreds of years, Spain was like the boss of the world. Under the rule of monarchs like Philip II, the empire reached its zenith, commanding respect and fear. Its influence shaped the world we live in today. Spanish explorers and settlers left an indelible mark on the lands they conquered, from architecture to language. But how did this super-powerful empire grow so big, and what made it fall apart? The story of the Spanish Empire is one of ambition, conflict, and eventual decline. This video will explore the important events and people of the Spanish Empire. From Christopher Columbus's voyages to the exploits of the conquistadors, we'll delve into the key moments that defined an era. We'll look at its rise to power, its best years, and the things that caused its downfall. The Golden Age of Spain was a period of great cultural and economic prosperity, but it was also a time of internal strife and external threats. Come with us on a trip through time to uncover the exciting story of the Spanish Empire. From its glorious beginnings to its dramatic end, this is a tale of exploration, conquest, and legacy. Before Spain was an empire, it was a bunch of small kingdoms. These kingdoms were diverse, each with its own unique culture, language, and traditions. The Iberian Peninsula was a mosaic of different peoples and influences, from the Visigoths to the Romans and later the Moors. This rich tapestry of history set the stage for the dramatic events that would follow. For a long time, Christian kingdoms in the north fought to take back land from the Muslim Moors. This period of conflict, known as the Reconquista, spanned several centuries, from the early 8th century to the late 15th century. It was a time of constant warfare, shifting alliances, and heroic tales. The Christian knights, driven by a sense of religious duty and the promise of land and wealth, waged relentless campaigns against the Moors. This fight, called the Reconquista, was really important in making Spain what it is. It wasn't just a series of battles. It was a defining era that shaped the identity of the Spanish people. The Reconquista fostered a sense of unity among the Christian kingdoms, despite their frequent rivalries. It also laid the groundwork for the emergence of a unified Spanish nation. The Reconquista created a strong sense of what it meant to be Spanish and a strong belief in their religion. The Catholic Church played a central role in this period, not only as a spiritual authority, but also as a political and military power. Religious ceremonies and festivals became important expressions of communal identity and solidarity. The ideals of chivalry and knighthood were deeply intertwined with the Christian faith, reinforcing the notion of a divine mission. It also created tough warriors and nobles who wanted more power. These warriors, known as hidalgos, were often younger sons of noble families who sought their fortunes on the battlefield. They were skilled in combat and driven by a desire for glory and land. The Reconquista provided them with opportunities to prove their valor and gain status. The nobles, on the other hand, used the conflict to expand their territories and influence, consolidating their power within the emerging Spanish state. These things would be really important for Spain's conquests later on. The experience and skills gained during the Reconquista were invaluable as Spain turned its attention to exploration and conquest overseas. The same spirit of adventure and ambition that drove the Reconquista now fueled the Age of Discovery. Spanish explorers such as Christopher Columbus and Hernán Cortés embarked on daring voyages across the Atlantic, seeking new lands and riches. The Reconquista had instilled in them a sense of destiny and a belief in their right to conquer and colonize. When the last Moorish city of Granada fell in 1492, a united Spain was ready to explore the world. The fall of Granada marked the end of the Reconquista and the beginning of a new era. With the Moors defeated, Spain was finally unified under the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella. This newfound unity and strength allowed Spain to embark on its ambitious global ventures. The same year, Columbus set sail on his historic voyage, opening the door to the New World and ushering in an age of Spanish dominance and exploration. The late 1400s was the start of the Age of Exploration. European countries, wanting new ways to trade and get rich, sailed all over the world. Spain, newly united and excited for adventure, was leading the way. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, paid for by the Spanish king and queen, landed in the Americas. This discovery opened up a whole new world for Spain. Explorers like Hernán Cortés and Francisco Pizarro followed, conquering huge empires in the Americas and taking all their riches for Spain. In the 1500s, the Spanish Empire was at its most powerful under the Habsburg kings. Charles V, who ruled both Spain and the Holy Roman Empire, controlled a massive amount of land. From the Americas to the Philippines, the sun never set on the Spanish Empire. Spanish silver and gold filled the king's treasury, paying for a strong army and navy. Spain became the most powerful country in Europe, always fighting wars and making political deals. The Spanish language, culture, and Catholic religion spread throughout the Americas, changing the world forever. Section 5. The Armada and its aftermath cracks in the facade. Even though it looked unbeatable, the Spanish Empire was starting to have problems. The empire, which had once seemed invincible, was now showing signs of strain. The vast territories it controlled across Europe, the Americas, and Asia were becoming increasingly difficult to govern and defend. The sheer size of the empire meant that communication was slow, and resources were often stretched thin. All the wars and the huge size of the empire were expensive and hard to manage. The constant military campaigns drained the empire's coffers, and the need to defend its vast borders required a massive standing army and navy. The financial strain was immense, and the empire was forced to borrow heavily, leading to mounting debts. In 1588, the problems became really clear. King Philip II, who had been a strong and determined ruler, was now facing numerous challenges. His ambitious plans to expand and consolidate the empire were faltering, and his once loyal subjects were beginning to question his leadership. King Philip II of Spain sent the Spanish Armada, a giant fleet of warships, to attack England. This was a bold and risky move aimed at securing Spain's dominance in Europe and curbing the growing influence of England. The Armada was one of the largest fleets ever assembled, and its mission was to overthrow Queen Elizabeth I and restore Catholicism in England. He wanted to overthrow Queen Elizabeth I and stop England from messing with the Spanish Netherlands. The Spanish Netherlands were a crucial part of Philip's empire, and English support for the Dutch rebels was a constant thorn in his side. By defeating England, Philip hoped to secure his hold on the Netherlands and eliminate a major rival. But the Armada was a disaster. The fleet, which had been so meticulously planned and prepared, was met with fierce resistance from the English navy. The English ships were smaller and more maneuverable, and their tactics were far superior to those of the Spanish. Bad weather, clever English tactics, and problems with supplies led to a huge defeat for Spain. The Armada was battered by storms, and many ships were lost before they even reached the English coast. Those that did make it were outmaneuvered and outgunned by the English. The defeat was a crushing blow to Spain's prestige and marked the beginning of the end for its dominance in Europe. Section 6. Economic troubles, the price of gold and glory. Losing the Armada was embarrassing for Spain and a sign of more trouble to come. All the gold and silver from the Americas, while good at first, caused unexpected problems. It made prices go up, so Spanish products were too expensive to sell to other countries. Spain also became too reliant on its colonies. The Spanish rulers, used to easy money, didn't build up their own businesses and infrastructure. This dependence on the colonies would hurt Spain later on. Section 7. Revolts and Revolutions, the Empire Fragments. As the 1600s went on, Spain's control over its empire got weaker. Revolts inside the empire and pressure from other countries chipped away at its edges. In Europe, Spain had to deal with rivals like France and England. In the Americas, people started to resent Spanish rule. Native people, treated badly and taken advantage of, rebelled. Other European countries, seeing that Spain was weak, helped these rebellions and started their own colonies in the Americas, making Spain even weaker. Section 8. Napoleonic Wars, the final blow. The 1800s were a crazy time for Europe, and the Spanish Empire got caught up in it. The Napoleonic Wars, which caused fighting all over Europe, were a turning point for Spain's colonies in the Americas. When Napoleon Bonaparte conquered Spain in 1808, there was no one in charge in the Americas. Spanish colonies, already wanting freedom, took the chance to break away. Revolutions happened all over Latin America, led by people like Simon Bolivar and José de San Martin. Section 9. Conclusion. A lasting legacy. By the end of the 1800s, the once great Spanish Empire was almost completely gone. Its decline was slow but unavoidable, caused by problems inside the empire and pressure from outside. But the Spanish Empire's impact is still felt today. From the Americas to the Philippines, the influence of the Spanish language, culture and religion is easy to see. The rise and fall of the Spanish Empire teaches us that even the strongest empires can fall. Understanding its story helps us learn about power, what happens with colonialism, and how cultures mix and change each other.